Hey everybody, this is Catholic video number, I think 34 at this point in time. And I want to talk about what getting triggered means. Getting triggered, I think if you get triggered, it tells me that A, you're uncharitable, and B, you're immature. And so, what does that mean? Why do I say that? Well, when you say you're triggered, it means you're angry. Anger has two components to it. One is the perception that some great offense has been done to you. That's number one, and we all get that occasionally. And then number two is what you do with it. And so you can get angry and feel like you're offended by somebody, but then you internalize it, you pray through it, you actually you make it your own problem, and you don't try to apply malicious intent to the offender against you. And so when you say you're triggered, that means you've already acted upon it and you're actually already acting out, trying to remedy the situation. So when you say I'm triggered, it means that you perceive evil against you, and which means you tell the person that triggered you that they're malintended and wrong. And I was doing some reading on the internet today, and apparently if you wear like the wrong T-shirt or the wrong hat, like a MAGA hat or something like that, that could actually trigger people. Which means when you have the hat of your president on, that people can actually think you're malintended toward them, and they could take that as offensive. And so that is the uncharitable component of it. Like if you actually take personal offense at somebody just being themselves, well, you're pretty undarn charitable. And number two, if you have to act on it and scream and yell and act like a little kid or something like that, throw a temper tantrum, then that tells you you're immature. Like you haven't been able to deal with life. You don't, like there's an old statement: "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me." But here you have a whole generation of like young adults that are sitting there going, "You're mean to me. I don't like it the way it's gonna how I feel, and now I'm gonna act out and try to hurt you in response." Yeah, that's called immaturity. It's infantilism. Just don't do it. I'll tell you, and this is something to think about, because if you want to get a job or you want to be employed in the future, if people perceive that you're immature and uncharitable, you'll never get a good job. And in fact, people will stay away from you because you are a troublemaker in their eyes. And so there you have it. This is Catholic Dad. Please pray the rosary, get the Mass, and don't be triggered, because when you get triggered, it's just too much stress in your life. It's too much stress in everybody else's life. And here's the other thing, by the way. If you apply charity to people, 99% of people on this planet are not malintended to other people, right? Which means if you're triggered all the time, it means you're probably making up a whole bunch of bad stuff toward yourself, which means you're trying to play the victim card. You're trying to act like everybody hates you. You're trying to act like, and that may get you sympathy from some awfully weak people. But for me, you get no respect, zero. I think you're infantile. I don't want anything to deal with you. Just honestly walk away if you feel like you're triggered. If you have to come at me, then we can have a real conversation. But then again, you better be willing to have a real conversation instead of like holding your breath, stomping your feet, yelling in my face, all the other stuff. The other thing is this. I've talked about it in prior videos, but Thomas Aquinas said um, that pure virtue is the absence of emotion, right? Meaning that you break every conversation and every argument down reasonably using like logic and reason. And so when you say I'm triggered, you've automatically violated pure virtue. You've already automatically signaled that you're not virtuous to the person that you're talking to. And it's a warning to people out there. You can't win arguments with non-virtuous people, because they're going to throw a hissy fit. They're going to throw themselves on the ground and roll around screaming and holding their breath. So yeah, don't be triggered. If you want to have a real conversation, say, well, this is my position, this is why I believe blah, 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 and I'm not going to do anything offensive or angry towards you. Really, that's the way it works. But if you say, I'm triggered, you've already automatically signaled you're not a virtuous person, you're kind of immature and uncharitable towards other people. And so, therefore, don't be triggered, people. Be reasonable and be well-spoken. And so this is Catholic Dad signing off. Get the Mass, pray the daily rosary, and take care of yourself, and God bless.